Oh man. Oh man. Gotta put my glasses on because I can't see nothing.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Alrighty. All right. Glasses on.
My boy got the glasses on.
All right. How's the volume?
I mean, I guess it's good. You know, I got this on mute, so
All right. Cool.
we're gonna pray and hope for the best.
All right. So, well, welcome back. You know, we back in the building, episode 10.
Let's go. Made it to double-digit episodes.
10 episodes, 10 weeks. That's a long time. 2.5 months.
Consistency.
Dang, 2.5 months. That's a long
Consistency.
time. Wow.
We just getting started though. We got a lot to cover when you think about it.
Yeah. Speaking of a lot to cover, it is about to be October.
Yeah.
We're going into the fourth quarter of the year. Do you, what's your mindset going into the fourth quarter of the year?
Make it happen right now, because by December I want to be chilling.
That's real.
We got to make it happen. No days off. No, oh, I do it tomorrow. Nope, just do it now.
Yep.
Because the way I look at it, like, okay, today is the 29th, Wednesday the 1st. Then my son's birthday is the 8th. Then it's Halloween. Then it's Thanksgiving. Then it's like, oh, shoot.
Ooh.
So that's how it usually goes. So I'm trying to stay ahead this year because plenty of years it's like I get smacked across the head with December. It's like, oh, shoot. So I don't want that to happen this year.
I mean, this last quarter is it's 3 holidays back to back, back to back to back. Being some of the biggest holidays.
Facts.
I feel like the last quarter is, it's just a lot going on. It's a lot to manage, but, we about to go into, it just feel kind of crazy. Like 2025 is flown by. Like, it just flew, and it felt like it was a lot of time, but I would say this year has been filled with growth, new experiences, new opportunities, refining the path, analyzing new things to do, trying to figure out ways to do stuff that we've been doing better.
Yeah.
And it's just been, a lot of growth and ideas and all of that stuff. So, happy that we here now, episode 10. And we just gonna keep on going, keep on giving people information. And to kind of dive into it, the first question is, what is a big money mistake people make when they're young?
Ooh. There's a lot, but I think one of the biggest is just not investing and having the mindset of I can do it later. That's the number one thing that I hear the most that's just wrong, especially when you factor in the younger you are, the less you actually need to invest. So it's like, oh, I don't really make enough yet. That's a scarcity mindset taking over. So instead it should be, I mean, I know I'm gonna make more later, but for now I can do $20 a month. Or you know what I mean? Like, when you're young, you literally can start with just a little bit instead of thinking, oh, I gotta invest $1,000 a month. You don't. You really don't. So, I wish more young people knew that, but that's why, we work with the 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, even early 20s, even late 20s, like just to connect with them and let them know, like, the earlier you start, the less you have to do as far as like monetarily, and then it actually becomes easier because you just can set it and forget it. Let that money kind of grow and compound while you sleep.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest. I can go real deep into that, but I know we got other questions.
Yeah.
But
I just wanted to really touch on that because that part is mad important because, time is the biggest asset in the market. It's a big asset that we have as, human beings. And we have to take advantage of our time. So somebody can start investing earlier. That's better than starting later.
Yeah,
we
for sure.
show a lot of clients the cost of waiting, where A guy that's 24 invested for 10 years, he put 5,000 into the market a year,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just let that money compound. Versus a person that started at 35 and invested all the way until 65 and put 5,000 a year. He put in the guy on the right put in 150,000. The guy on the left put in 50,000, and then by 65, the guy on the left still had $100,000 more than the guy on the right.
Yeah, I wish I could tattoo that on my face. No, I'm just joking. But let me go a little bit deeper because sometimes we say that and then there's somebody out there might be looking like, okay, but what to do? You know what I mean? Like, tell me more. So first off, I feel like now more than ever, it's easier to invest. So we could go for retirement or just in general. In general, you can invest on Cash App. You can invest on Acorns, Robinhood. Like, as long as you have a checking account that you can connect to that brokerage account, and for those who don't know what a brokerage account, it's just a fancy way of saying an account that you can invest in, right? So you can buy investments in this account. That's what a brokerage account is. So if you said, well, instead of doing FanDuel or whatever, I'm gonna put a little money here. It's kind of easy, especially if you invested in something like SPY, which is like putting your money with the 500 best companies in the country. You don't have to know, which company is best. You don't have to have a certain set amount that you invest. It's just whatever you can.
Mm-hmm.
They will do the math and make a fractional share that basically is the same amount of money that you're going to put in versus what that share price is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, that's why that guy on the left turns into the millionaire quicker because your money had more time to compound. And I think that's what happens. Not that's what happens, but the fact that that happens and we don't fully understand is why it's hard for people to grasp it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had $150,000 in the market, that 150,000 can grow to 250, 300, 500 without adding more money because the value of what you bought went up.
Mm-hmm.
That's as simple as I can put it,
That's real.
And then one other thing on the side of retirement kind of savings, if you have a job that's offering a 401k with a match, there you go. It's already built in for you. They're going to take the money before the government takes it as far as like to invest for you. And if you have a match, that basically is saying, I'm going to put this amount of money, and then your employer is saying, I'm going to put the same amount. So you're actually getting money from them to invest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can't not do it. Like it's
Yeah.
mandatory. You have to do that.
Yeah. When it comes to like, investing and building generational wealth or wealth in general, a lot of people try to reinvent the wheel, and the wheel is like, I mean, it's been the same for a long
Right.
time, and it just, like you said, it stems down to one, investing early and just continuously investing so that when you do get to retirement, you can have, a lump sum of X amount of dollars that you can utilize as passive income to make sure that you never outlive your money, but also give that information to the next generation to come.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times, people want to get rich so fast and kind of ignore the steps that it takes to make sure that they're building money up for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of like reinventing the wheel, like what do you think is like a way that wealthy people kind of go about? Well, do you think wealth is only for the rich?
Absolutely not. Wealth is a product of the mind, not the pocket. So like, anybody can get rich, but most people who get rich go broke. Wealth is all up here. Like to be honest, yes, it has to do with money, yes, but wealthy people do say and think differently than people who are not wealthy. So even if you don't have the money yet, you can still be wealthy because if you believe it's going to happen for you, then it's only a matter of time before it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I really want to like talk about that is because if you don't believe that you can become wealthy, you won't because it's all in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of simple, but it's definitely true. And then when it comes to investing in general, you don't need to reinvent the wheel because there are things that are already built for you to just say, here, I'm going to put my money with that. An ETF, So exchange traded funds. So think of, you know, a collection of maybe 10 or 20 stocks that are doing well in a certain sector. So healthcare, you can buy ETF, healthcare ETF. You can buy a, technology one like QQQ. So what I'm saying is, if you don't know which stock to pick, but you don't want to reinvent the wheel, you can put money into QQQ, which is already built for you with NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, all these tech companies are, companies that have something to do with tech, and it's gonna split up your money in a certain way and just leave it there. I was talking to somebody last week about investments, and they wanted to know, like, well, how do you know what to buy or how much to put? And I'm like, if you if you know you want to put your money towards something that's going to grow, think about what is going on in the world that kind of is a driving force, and it's technology, right? So all of this is technology. Our iPhone, AI, all of that is technology. So I said, that is a good place to start. And then he's like, well, like how much? And I'm like, well, for me, I'm only going to invest money that I don't need. Like, you shouldn't be investing rent money. You shouldn't be investing bill money. But we all get to that point in a month or in a pay period where it's like, I got a couple dollars, my bills are paid, got food, got everything I need. That's the money that you need to invest, at least some of it, because it's not going to interrupt everything else that you have going on that's very important. But also, it preserves your money. It's like, if you didn't do that, what are you going to do? You're going to go get some DoorDash or whatever. But it's like, if you just chose, instead of, let me just put my money here, knowing that, hey, yeah, I'm not looking for it back, but I also still have it. So instead of me having it sitting in a drawer or as cash, why not have it invested in something that's going to appreciate in value? And when I was, and this is another, fellow brother or whatever, we was talking, and I'm like, our problem most of the time, and I don't really like to get into the race thing, but it's hard for us as black people to see the difference between cost and value. It's very hard for us to decipher that. But once we do, you kind of unlock that little door in your mind that opens up to wealth, because we know what everything costs.
Yeah.
But when it comes to value, it's like, okay, once you kind of stop and really think, I want my money to appreciate in value. How can I do that? Investing. And, there's really no rhyme or reason, but going back to the point of not, recreating the wheel, you already got everything already laid out. So I already talked about ETF, but you might hear something like, an index fund. That is pretty much the same, but it's a lot more. So like SPY is 500 instead of like 10 or 20.
Yeah.
Either way, if you got $10, the brokerage account is designed to do the math for you to see how much does $10 get me of this stock or of this index, this ETF, whatever. And you do that, and well, my $10 is there. I don't want it back, because when I get another $10, I'm gonna put it there, and by the time I do that, maybe my $10 has grown to 11 or whatever, and that's how slowly but surely, what you invested is here, but what it is valued at becomes like this.
Yeah.
So I just want people to kind of like visualize that, but also show them that everybody can do it.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as, oh, you can only be wealthy if, no, if you believe it, you can start to work towards it. And then also to tie in the get rich quick kind of thing is like, if you want to get rich quick, or if you want this to all happen quick, you already got the wrong mindset. Because when you think about it, if you got it quick, it might be gone quick. So let's, just talk about that. It's like, plenty of times you hear about the lottery winners who go broke, or the people who get drafted 3 years later, they're not in the league. Like, getting it quick is almost a bad thing.
Yeah.
So if you say, well, I mean, I'm 35, you 25? For the last 35 and 25 years, we've been doing this and that, and we still okay. So for another 35 or 25 years, then imagine what that could end up being. Imagine how much those investments can grow versus what you actually put in, and let it kind of slow burn and end up growing into something big. And then what? You're going to be 50, 60, 70 years old, and at least by then you really won't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
So
And that's the goal.
mm-hmm.
That's what pretty much everybody wants to get to,
I
but they
hope.
just have to take the right steps and have the right information.
Right.
And it kind of touch on what you talked about of how like investing money that you don't need. A way that like I like to help people is well, the way we both help people, to be honest, is helping people budget. And
Yeah.
whether that's a budgeting sheet or whatever it is that somebody wants to budget, they can create this budget. They already know what their monthly income is, so take that monthly income and write down what your expenses is, like all of your expenses from rent, insurance,
Man, that's the part people don't want to do
gas. People leave out a lot of stuff like that, stuff
Yep.
that we need every single, like groceries,
though. I was
like
gonna say the girl
put
math, the
all of
boy
that
math.
stuff.
Oh well, this don't count. Like, no, you gotta
everything definitely,
Exactly.
everything counts. And then once they can get that monthly expense of, yes, your bills, but also stuff that's not technically a bill, but stuff that you absolutely have to pay for in order to
Yeah.
maintain your lifestyle.
Subscriptions, all that.
And then once they have all of those expenses, you take that income, you subtract your expenses from that income, and what's left over is your kind of like play money, so to speak. Money
Yeah.
that you can invest in, money that you can use for if you want to take a trip.
Yeah.
That's that leftover money that you can just do whatever you want with, because all of your needs are taken care of. And then
Exactly.
even with the budgeting sheet too, you want to incorporate a good amount of money for your wants too, because like everybody know they got a lifestyle that they want to upheld. So
Definitely.
putting the wants into the expenses will really allow that play money to be free and not needed, and still be able to pay bills and maintain that lifestyle. So budgeting is very, very important, on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And then to touch on, you said basically kind of like a built for you system, and a good way that people can have that built for you system is having an advisor.
Yeah.
Could you touch on like the importance of having an advisor, and how a lot of wealthy people actually work directly with an advisor, so that they don't really have to like do all of the brain work. They don't have to know all of the information. They just allow the experts to do it.
Man, listen, this is about to be a little mini rant. But here's the thing. An advisor, to me, is on the same level as an attorney. It's on the same level as, your accountant. And I think that kind of scares people away if they don't feel like they're in the financial situation for that. And the big misconception is like, well, I got to get my money up before I can go get an advisor. And it's a misconception because it's kind of backwards. Like, if you want to get your money up, get an advisor. And here's the other thing. Since we're in the same, like, playing field, not even playing field, but like on the same level as an attorney or an accountant, people just assume to have a meeting with us, it costs, $400 an hour, and it's really not. But that's why we have to highlight that, because people just assume that. People just think, well, okay, if I, have a seat and have a conversation, there's going to be a bill at the end. It's really not that at all. It'll be completely free. But, the other thing is going back to how wealth is a product of the mind. If you know you're not where you want to be financially, but you also now know, or I can kind of meet with an advisor and build up a plan for free, you have to do it. It's a no-brainer, because if you're thinking that something's going to happen and then you're going to get enough money to then get an advisor, that's typically not the case. It just realistically, it won't play out like that. Now, with that being said, if you think about the fact that wealthy people use advisors, and usually they use multiple advisors, it kind of seems like, why would you not want to do that? And on that end of the spectrum, where it's like, okay, let's think of the super wealthy person, and they have advisors. Actually, like from the book What Would the Rockefellers Do, it taught me that really, really wealthy people, they have a family office. So it's like, imagine you make so much money that you can just have people who you pay every month who work for you that are lawyers, accountants, financial professionals. That's what wealthy people do. They have a family office. But even if you're not at that point, if you're like, okay, I'm good, or it's called a Henry, high earner, not rich yet. If you're a Henry, you definitely need an advisor because then you can use the advisor's time to plan out what is best for you while you use your time to generate more income. One thing that I hear a little bit from other influencers and other, just you just hear it on socials, how like, you have the people who pretty much understand, hey, I don't make enough. How can I, end up being financially fit? And then you have those people who are kind of the same, but it's like, yeah, I don't make enough. How can I make some more? So,
Facts.
and it's usually you should be doing that, especially in this economy. Like, no matter where you work or how much you make, to find a way to generate extra income will always be good. And for your example of the person who maybe they work for the district or upstate or whatever, where you kind of getting paid biweekly or that kind of thing, where what you make, how much you make, and you
Yep.
know what you need. Well, then if you go and create a little side hustle or a way to make even 100 extra dollars a month, that is the money that can go into the market because it's not going to interrupt what you've been doing already.
Yeah.
So just that framework and mindset of if you want to be wealthy, it starts up here. If you want to meet with an advisor, take advantage because it's free. And then if you want to go for some long-term planning, make it so that you and your advisor are talking every month, and then years will go by and it's like, wow, I'm way better off than I expected to be. And a lot of that probably would be because of the advisor. But, all through all of, whatever you've planned and whatever you've done, the advisor still got compensated from the company he works for. So it's not like anybody's losing in this situation. So it's really a win-win. And that's what makes it, in my opinion, a no-brainer to kind of do it this way.
Yeah, it's a valuable experience. I mean, you're getting
Yeah.
a lot of information, you're getting resources, and all that stuff is free. So it's good to kind of just to test the waters and see what is see what it's like. Of course,
For
if
sure.
it's somebody that you trust, and it should be somebody that you trust, somebody that's open, genuine, trustworthy is very important. And to kind of touch on not reinventing the wheel, if if somebody wants to get wealthy, they should do what the wealthy person is doing, or find information that the wealthy person has access to, or
Yeah.
even if that's just having an advisor. Most wealthy people do have an advisor or
Yeah.
two. So not recreating the wheel and just following those steps in order to become more wealthy. Um,
Yeah.
and I guess this is kind of like a similar question, but why do you think most people never really build generational wealth?
A lack of knowledge, lack of information, lack of understanding. You're just lacking out here. Like, and I think it really, it really makes a lot of sense for people to start to think about the information that they don't have that they want. Because sometimes you don't have information because you don't know anything about it. I'm not talking about that, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty obvious. But like, if you have pretty good job, there's usually a way through HR to get some type of financial literacy, or at least, there's a wellness fair a certain day where, okay, you can go down and talk to an advisor because he's, table in that event, build a relationship, but I think it definitely is, it can be a generational lack of information. So, most of the time it's, well, granddad, he just worked, worked and worked and worked, bought a house, never got life insurance, never had a retirement plan. He did have a pension, and then he went on about his life and then didn't really teach dad what was what, because this kind of was a cookie cutter system that worked for him. That system is done. It's over for that. Like, that's not a thing anymore. You can't just work, get a house and a pension, and that's that. Because of inflation, that's not really realistic. So I guess the solution would be, if his granddad in that situation, he should have been teaching dad okay, yeah, I'm working, but I'm working at a place that has a pension. And then I think that might have been enough of a little springboard for dad to understand, well, okay, that's cool, but now not only do I have a pension, I could invest into a 403b or a 401k. So it's like, okay, a little bit of information gets compounded. And if dad's doing that and then teaches us as a son, hey, this is what I did, now we can go and say, well, all right, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna get a good job where I got a pension. I'll open up that 403b or 401k too because they offer it. Why not have both? And then as I do that, maybe I'll open up a brokerage account. So I got three different places to grow money for the long term. And keeping it going, us as the son, when we become fathers, not so much about the money, but if we're not having the knowledge passed down correctly and building on the knowledge, then guess what happens? We all start over,
I agree.
right? Especially when there's no real plans in place. Not just do this, do that. No, it's like, nah, I took out a life insurance policy so that when I die, it's a celebration more than an argument, and then it'll just kind of keep going from there. But like what I'm doing personally for my sons is opening up brokerage accounts that I can use for, okay, here comes my son's birthday or Christmas. We don't need stuff. Don't buy us stuff. Like, I love my family, I love my support system, and this is just me using myself as an example, but I'm pretty sure somebody can relate. Come Christmas time, how much presents do you need under the tree to make the kids happy? Not really too much, especially if they get the one specific one they really want. All those other ones that came from grandma or auntie or whoever, this is fine, that's cool, but instead, that money that you took and waited in line and bought something with, just put that over here in this brokerage account. It'd be way better.
When they turn 18.
Exactly, exactly. So it's like, if that becomes a common practice in all households, any race, that will change the world. And until we kind of buy into like the fact that, yeah, we don't need to be consumers anymore. We got enough toys and clothes for decades. Why not shift that money towards something that's going to grow and appreciate in value?
Yeah.
So
I agree.
that's what I'm trying to really show.
And touch on the granddad situation.